Yesterday, the Indianapolis mayor announced they were formally pursuing an MLS club. Usually, I would make a video about how that is great, but per multiple reports, this was perhaps after a meeting with the MLS. Now, why this is such an issue, or to some this might be an issue, is because those of you who follow U.S. soccer know that Indianapolis already has a pro soccer team, Indy 11. Now, I have seen no issue with there being two soccer teams in a city that can sustain two soccer teams. Most countries have two teams in big markets. But most countries don't have two leagues competing with each other because we have a unique situation here in the U.S. However, the USL does not directly compete with the MLS. They try to serve markets that the MLS isn't established in. Where a lot of people are outraged about this, as you can see on social media, is that the MLS seems to be targeting USL markets. In this example, for the reason for that outrage and concern, the same day that the mayor announces that they're pursuing an MLS club, the developer that Indy 11 is working with to develop their billion-dollar sports complex also announces that it's pulling out of the project with Indy 11, leaving many to speculate the MLS stepped in to persuade Indianapolis to back off the project with Indy 11 for the chance at a future MLS team. On the 11-year anniversary of Indy 11, by the way, now that just seems to be a little bit too much coincidence. Now, this isn't something that's isolated to Indianapolis. All over the country, we see the MLS and USL having this Cold War. Others have also looked at some of the other possible marketplaces. Tampa Bay, Detroit. At the same time that the USL announced that Jacksonville was established its first USL Championship club, the MLS also announced that Jacksonville Armada entering the MLS Next Pro. The MLS Next Pro is not only a place for the MLS for its second teams to play, which used to play in the USL, it has also started to bring in other markets that don't have an MLS team. And so they're developing like its own second division. So it would seem that the MLS is trying to target these USL marketplaces. Detroit, for example. Detroit FC is one of the USL's most vibrant clubs. If you just watch a video of Detroit playing before a game and the fans marching to the stadium, you'd think you're in Europe. And that's why I say that the USL does not try to directly compete with MLS. Detroit doesn't have an MLS team. It's not a huge market, but it has a great core fan base and atmosphere at that stadium. It's a smaller stadium that's packed, has a great atmosphere. It is absolutely what soccer needs in this country. Not every marketplace should be a 20, 30,000 person stadium. Soccer needs medium-sized clubs and even small clubs. This is how you develop a sustainable grassroots system. Players need opportunities. Young players need opportunities. We don't have relegation, and the U.S. is just completely too big for this one-size-fit-all model. Comparatively, if you look at somewhere like Florida, which is an MLS USL battleground state, the population is pretty comparable to somewhere like Portugal. Portugal has relegation. It has multiple division. So with the 20 million people Florida has, if you compare that to Europe, to a place like Portugal, you'd have over 30 teams you could play for professionally and make a living. Here in Florida, you have two MLS teams and you have three USL Championship teams. So in a perfect world, if the USL and MLS weren't competing with each other, you'd have two clubs in Jacksonville with opportunities. You'd have two clubs in Miami with opportunities. And now with MLS targeting Tampa, you'd have two clubs in Tampa with opportunities. You'd have multiple clubs in one state for young players and players just trying to make a living to play soccer and to make a living in a healthy system in the U.S. Instead, you have the MLS trying to remove those opportunities from the marketplace. And this is where the issue truly lies. The MLS seems to be targeting these marketplaces. I love the MLS, but there seems to be a mentality that this town's not big enough for the both of us with the whole United States, which is completely false considering the size of the United States and the overwhelming issue that we have with our structure of soccer in the United States. Without relegation, with this odd, crazy system that we have here in the U.S., between USL 2 being a marriage with D1 soccer and USL Championship being the thing that kind of goes in between those spaces, it just kind of works, and it's growing. And if you want to watch free soccer, the only place to do that is on USL. If you're in a state that doesn't have an MLS academy, your best chance is to go to USL Academy. And for those who say, hey, it's a business is cutthroat, the one thing about soccer that's really interesting is that countries that subsidize soccer, countries that understand that development can't be pay for play, end up making more money and end up doing better business. There's no reason that MLS, the big brother, the organization with all the money and power in the United States, is trying to cut the legs from under the USL. And there might even be something the USL could teach the MLS. With less money and less resources, they've managed to have more players transfer to Europe. They've managed to stay afloat with a sustainable business model. And I think there'll definitely be cities where the USL and MLS overlap, whether it be MLS Next Pro or an actual MLS team and a USL Championship team. And that should be okay. The MLS needs to be a better steward of the game and be comfortable and confident and secure with its position and stand on its product. If it's truly a better product, it will be fine. I just don't understand why this American business model of, win at all cost is ingrained in soccer. If we want to excel at soccer, we have to understand that soccer historically doesn't grow. If we put the ecosystem and community of soccer ahead of the profits will come. But until we have a good product, until we're able to do what it takes to be a successful soccer country, we're still going to be fighting with the same issues. So the MLS, don't be mad at me. I still love you, but you're worried about the wrong thing. And you're attacking the only